What's the first thing you remember?
First thing I remember was all hands get to your general quarter stations. We're under attack. We're under attack. And I got to my GQ station, which is in the front part of the ship. And those two men that I just left there, not a minute it took me to get back up there. They were dead. They're blown to bits. Anything that moved aboard that ship, they were shot at. 25 minutes of that, you can't imagine. Every second was like an hour. There was nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. And you got people severely blown up, wounded badly. And it continued and continued and continued for 25, 30 minutes. And then there was a lull. We saw the torpedo boats coming. We thought, the Star of David, oh, good. Because these were unmarked jet aircraft. We didn't know who was attacking us. We thought it was the Arabs. And then we saw the torpedo boats and the Star of David. Oh, man, here's our best friends who are going to come help us. No, they come to sink us. I was getting people off deck, taken to a triage in the mess decks. The whole mess decks was full of people laying on the tables, on the floor. It was a sea of broken and bloodied men. And it continued like that for, like I say, for the entire attack, and then the torpedo boats got up to us. They did, they fired 5 torpedoes at us.
So all the antennas are taken out, 25 minutes has passed, and they're obviously assuming that you can't communicate your distress. You indicated in your letter, was it before the torpedoes that fortunately somebody had taken one of those
yes.
offline?
Terry Haldebardier, he's a third-class radioman. He strung a long wire to the only antenna. He took that antenna offline because it wasn't working. So they didn't hit it because they were using heat-seeking missiles to hit all the antennas. Because when they're tuning, they throw off heat, and they took them all out except that one. And he got.
This is actually a video I've wanted to watch for a very long time. It's basically Candace Owens interviewed one of the crew members of the USS Liberty. Now, for those that don't know, the USS Liberty is a ship, an American warship that was attacked by Israel. And basically, there were a lot of talks that Israel did this on purpose, knowing it was an American ship, because they wanted to provoke a war between the US and the Middle East, I think Egypt at the time. So this is a very provocative and controversial story, and Candace Owens had someone from the crew member who actually talked about his experience, and it's a very long interview. I think it's like an hour or 2 hours. And I watched the whole interview and chose the highlighted moments. So for everyone that doesn't want to go watch the whole entire interview, I have the highlighted moments here for your convenience. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Now let's continue watching this.
Hooked up Rockstar, and like I said, it went to Vietnam. The Sixth Fleet picked it up. They automatically sent aircraft from the Saratoga and Captain Tully. And before they even hit the horizon, McNamara says, bring those aircraft back. Do not help Liberty. Turn around.
So our Secretary of Defense, I mean, this attack could, in theory, since he was able to get that message out, in theory, the attack could have been over. How long after it started?
Almost immediately. In fact, they could have saved 25 brave American lives, all spies that got killed when the torpedo hit.
But instead,
if they would have just let those planes come help us. But that wasn't the deal. We were set up by our own government to die.
crazy. And now the President of the United States is saying, I don't care. I don't give a GD if they die. I am not going to embarrass our friend and ally Israel. So he knew.
He knew. And, they destroyed Captain Tully's career, too. They fired him. He got fired for doing that. He was a World War II fighter pilot. Very, very highly decorated. Good man. In fact, he came to one of our reunions and broke down like a baby and cried. So I'm sorry, I couldn't help you. it wouldn't let me. And he took that to his grave. He was a broken man.
Oh, I can't even imagine what he went through.
Yeah.
Having to follow orders when the orders were so demonic.
Yes, absolutely.
So he gets called back again. This time it's from the President of the United States. And now you are seeing torpedo boats with the Star of David. Now you guys know, and you're thinking, amazing, we're about to get saved. We've got these flags inside. We know who these guys are. Fine.
Yeah.
We don't know who's attacking us, but we know these are our friends. When did you notice, wait a second, something's not right here?
When the old man said, prepare for torpedo hit starboard side, I saw 2 torpedoes go aft. Where the other 2 went, I don't know, but I know where one of them went. It hit in the communications spaces and killed 25 brave young men. And that's one of the reasons I'm here today, to be their voice, because we're not going to let them die in vain. There's not many survivors left. They're dying out, and it's our duty as Americans and patriots to take care of them and make sure their lives didn't die in vain. And all presidents and all Congress, including Donald Trump, has not done anything for us. They're beholden to the Zionist state, AIPAC. Donald Trump's a new president again. I call on Donald Trump to help us. I mean, we gave our lives and our blood for this country at the hands of the Zionists, Israel. And does he stand with Israel, or does he stand with the United States fighting men that were slaughtered that day by the Zionist state, covered up, same with mistaken identity? I call on you, President Trump, to give the USS Liberty the same courtesy we deserve, or any fighting man that was killed that day.
You could feel the pain in his voice, and just imagine that Israel attacked America's ships on purpose and killed Americans. And today they're our best ally, our favorite ally. Make it make sense.
But we don't get it because Israel did it. It's fine as long as Israel did it. It's fine. It was a mistaken identity. It wasn't. Admiral Moore, he had the Moore report. It's a very, very detailed report. He's the longest serving admiral in the United States Navy. He served as the European commander and the Pacific commander, and two times as chairman of Joint Chiefs. And he says, I'll never believe it was a mistaken identity. And he called on Congress over and over to have an investigation. Congress says there already has been an investigation. There never has been. There's been a board of inquiry by Admiral Isaac Kidd and his boss, or his underling, JAG officer, Ward Boston. They completed that investigation in 7 days. Should have taken a year. They never even talked to Israel. They took Israel's word instead of ours.
So you're watching, you're on this boat, you see this torpedo hit. That torpedo instantly kills 25 servicemen. And you escape, fortunately, are able to escape this. What is going on in your mind? Because I just am thinking of that moment of consciousness when you think you're going to be saved because you see your friend and your ally, and then suddenly you realize that your friend and your ally is actually killing you, and they're in torpedo boats, so there's no way they know this is an American ship, right?
Yes.
What's going on in your mind and emotionally in that moment, if you could take yourself back?
Well, I'll put it this way. God saved us from God's chosen people. That's what he did. Exactly what he did. We put over 3 life rafts. That's all we had left. They shot all of our life rafts up.
They shot the life rafts up. That's a big no-no in war.
We put 3 over. They shot 2 of them. We were going to put our most seriously wounded in them so they'd have a chance at life. They shot 2 out of the water and took 1 aboard the boat as a trophy of the kill. It's in Haifa somewhere.
Wow. They took 1 aboard, so there's absolutely no way they did not know
No.
that this was an American ship. They take one on board as a trophy. They're shooting it out. You are now realizing that you cannot help the wounded. Torpedoes are hitting you. What happens next?
And then finally, they just quit. We thought it was over, but it wasn't. They sent over troop carrying helicopters with Marines in it to board our ship, scuttle the ship, and kill us all. I was on the main deck when they were coming over.
What is your condition at that moment? What were you doing on the main deck?
I was on the main deck trying to still get people off the main deck. And then they got there, and this Marine, he had his foot on the skid. I thought they were going to come down in a rope or a ladder or whatever. And I just gave him the finger. And he gave it right back to me and just smiled.
This is an IDF soldier. He smiled at you.
Smiling.
Definitely sounds like an IDF soldier.
Very big smile. And they just took off. The gig was up. I mean, they confessed. Well, mistaken identity. We thought it was the El Khazir, what was a horse transport, and enemy ship. That's what they said, and that was their excuse, and they got by with it because of the crooked government then and now. Well, 2/3 of the crew was either dead or wounded, and dock keeper, we had one dock aboard the ship. He had been shot in the abdomen, and both of his knees were shot up. And he operated for 17 hours on people. I helped him in one operation, a guy by the name of Gary Blanchard. He was hit bad. And he says, take my socks off. My feet are hot, hot, hot. So I rubbed his feet, tried to get some circulation. I went over to the side and looked at him, and he says, you think I'm going to die? I said, yeah, I think you are. And Doc cut him open, and he was dead. So that went on all night. Put a few stitches on him and put him over the side, and just kept on doing it. The walking wounded, a lot of them were walking wounded, and all they did was want to help their fellow shipmates. Bravest crew I've ever seen in my life. I mean, we guys come together like none other. We had none to fight back with but our will and our wits, and with God's beautiful hand on us.
So you survive living hell. You watch your mates die. You wait 17 hours, and you're thinking, okay, at least now it's over. And instead, you guys get reprimanded, and you're told, essentially, we'll kill you.
Yes, it's absolutely.
I think it's difficult for me, and why I say that this has been such a turning point. It's difficult for me to take seriously now any of the politicians who declare themselves to be America first. I mean, just to be clear, Congress passed through in the blink of an eye to ensure that people would learn about October 7th in school.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Are you serious? That is something I was not aware of. And I just thought of something else too. I remember I saw a video of Ben Shapiro mentioning the USS Liberty. And he mentioned that there's like a conspiracy theory out there that Israel knew the United States, it was a United States ship, and they wanted to provoke a war, and so they, destroyed it. And then he mentioned that there's also another side to the story that Israel says, and it's like a story out in Israel, a conspiracy theory in Israel, where they thought that America was selling secrets to Egypt, and so they attacked the USS Liberty. And I guess that really made me wonder, where is Ben Shapiro's true loyalty? Does he think that it's okay that Israel did that, even if that was the case? I I don't know, just thoughts going through my head right now.
And yet I went through school, I graduated college, I have 2 degrees, and I had never learned about the USS Liberty in its entire context until I received your letter.
Yep, it was covered up, and it's not in the history books, which it should be. It's a very important part of history. Now, something very interesting. Back in the '80s, I did a speaking deal with the old Spotlight newspaper, and the 2 older gentlemen, they were entrepreneurs in Wisconsin, Grafton. They read it, and they sent me a letter and said, we were going to we're building a new library, and we were going to call it the Grove Library. Now we want to call it the USS Liberty Memorial Library. And the whole Milwaukee area, everybody around there, the Jewish population says, no, 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 you cannot do that because it's anti-Semitic to bring up USS Liberty.
Wow, that's anti-Semitic?
Anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitic. And the Grove brothers said, the heck with you guys. They've already put $1 million up. And they said, we'll just take our money out. And then the town said, no, 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 no. We'll name it the USS Liberty Memorial Library. Because he threatened to take all the money, both of them threatened to take all the money away from it. So, and we had to get this, SWAT teams on the roofs, bomb-sniffing dogs, because we were all threatened. They were going to get us right there for dedicating the survivors, dedicating that. That's when Pete McCluskey, former Congressman McCluskey, was there, and he spoke at the dedication, as did others.
I mean, you can't say that Israel is not involved in false flags because the Levant affair proves that they are.
King David Hotel.
King David Hotel means exactly proves that they are. You survived what you believe to be a false flag.
King David's Hotel was actually a terrorist attack from Israel where they killed, I believe, a bunch of British people, soldiers, government officials in the King David Hotel.
Attack, and yet we have people in America who get on stage and refer to them as our greatest friend and ally. I mean, how does that make you feel to just even hear that, to hear people say they're our greatest friend and ally?
It makes me furious. It really does. They're not our best friend. They're not our ally. They got more money when they murdered my shipmates than they ever got in their entire existence. And the Israelis said they paid $6 million. They didn't pay $6 million to our ship. Our own government did. The ship alone was worth $40 million. And they settled for $6 million. The most seriously wounded got some. And they very well should have, and of course the dead. Most of the crew got $200 and ordered to shut up. Then I was ordered to sign that, where I could never sue Israel or the United States, which I signed it gladly.
You signed it, because you were ordered to sign it, which means you could never sue Israel or the United States for what you survived.
Yeah, and that was under duress. And I don't think it's worth the paper it's written on. I don't think it's worth anything.
No, of course, it's not worth anything.
But that's what they did to us, and they continue to do it. But I'm not going to give up till my dying breath. I'm going to be here speaking the truth, and we plan on trying to get together a speaking tour around the country for survivors to speak to the public and tell them about our government and the Israeli government. As far as I'm concerned, Candace, they set us up. Israel were the hitmen, and our government paid them to hit us. And then when we didn't sink, they tell us that it was mistaken identity. Us, the survivors, that they thought we were somebody else. They shot 2 of our flags down, and we put up another one, 7x13. They say they didn't see that one either. 7x13, that's a big flag. They call it holiday colors. And that's what we flew into Malta. 1,000 miles away, we went from that torpedo hit 1,000 miles away with a 40 by 40 foot hole in the ship. There was a man named A.J. Crystal. He was a bankruptcy judge. And he wrote a book, The Liberty Estate. And he's Jewish. And he lied about it. And then Ward Boston signed a declaration. He says, we were ordered by our government to lie. We knew it was no mistaken identity. It was a deliberate attack to sink that ship. And he felt bad about it. You know, he says, I was a military man and I followed orders, but that brought him out and he just couldn't do it anymore. And soon after that, he died.
If you enjoy videos like this where I take a long form podcast and turn it into a 15-20 minute video for your convenience, so it saves you time, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you really want to help support this channel, a lot of videos like this do get demonetized or shadow banned. Make sure you become a member. I'll have the link in the description below. Now let's continue.
I can't imagine being ordered.
Yeah.
To...
Well, absolutely. And our ship is the most, from the Medal of Honor, Navy Cross, Silver Stars, Bronze Stars, 208 Purple Hearts, Combat Action Ribbon, and the Presidential Unit Citation, and nobody knows about it.
Yeah, what do the objects mean if they keep you a secret and call you Nazis for trying to speak out? It means nothing. None of it means anything if you don't have a government that truly honors and respects you.
Yes, and if I honor old veterans, they go in there, they go in to serve the country. In fact, when I put on the uniform the first time, I was the proudest man in the world to do that, to serve my country, and to be abandoned and for all these years and abandoned right now. I'm asking you, front out, President Trump, don't abandon the crew of the USS Liberty, please.
And yet they commit themselves not to a higher power. They commit themselves to politicians. They commit themselves to lobbyists. They commit themselves to money. And to the people that partook in this lie, I hope and know that all of them are burning in hell. And to every person that's watching this, that is going to continue to lie, to call you conspiracy theorist, to call you a Nazi, those people too will either repent or they will burn in hell. I truly believe that.
I do too. And